also trying to keep an eye on WTL to see what has been going on while we've been away. As we are diving into this and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the South Korean Terran player representing himself, as this madman is a teamless player, but he's also the ESL Masters runner-up. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Mystery Gaming. He just took down Nightmare 2-1. It is RagnaroK. Here we go. And GuMiho, he is going for a low ground 2-rax. He's going for the Bjorn opener. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. Now, this is what I love about GuMiho. So GuMiho, unlike Bjorn does this every game because it's the Bjorn opener. GuMiho, he mixes this in whenever he can. He mixes in a lot of different builds. He mixes in the Bjorn opener of the 2 racks. Of course, he also mixes in the low ground racks factory as well. We have seen that in the past. As RagnaroK is going for a hatch pool gas opener. There's a lot going on right now. there's so much going. Okay, so with this, RagnaroK, he's going to be going into faster lings. He's going to have faster queens as well. I wonder if he's reading this. I wonder if GuMiho has done this before on this map, as the Overlord is going to confirm the 2-rax opener from his opponent, is going to confirm the Reapers that are about to be active on the map. Now, RagnaroK has gone for different reactions, depending on if this is a 4-rax or not. That's the thing. GuMiho, from here, he can go into a 3rd rax and go for Mass Reapers. He can go for a CC into a 3rd and 4th rax for a 4-rax Marine push. He can go into a 2-on-1. There's a lot of different avenues here. We have seen RagnaroK more often than not cut drones, throw down an early Bailey nest, and go for a Ling Bane bust to try to punish this. But we'll see if that's what he goes for. As for the time being, he's going for his 3rd base on location. Reaper dives into the main base. Lings are already waiting for him. Queen a couple of seconds away from popping out as well. Oh, so far, so good. Looking at the units lost tab, only 1 Ling has gone down. The Queen holding the line. Additional Lings have been pumped out as well. We are racing into Ling speed as we speak. As the second queen is brought forward into the main base. Just making sure we can hold the line. Oof. And this is already getting out of hand. The queen gets hunted down. Oh my, I was not expecting this, but this is snowballing out of control. With 1 queen falling, we get 2 more drones. The Reaper lives. The Reaper survives. Behind this, there's that 3rd rax. We should be seeing a 4th rax as well. GuMiho transitioning, stim on the way. Add-ons are up and running. This is already doing more than it really should have. As the queens are knocked back. And, oh, actually, this is not a 4-rax. Okay, so we have seen Bjorn do this before as well. To go for a 3rd rax on the high ground, but then go for a factory and go for a starport. So we're still going to have an abundance of Marines, but this is going to be hitting with a little bit later with medevacs instead. So this is less committed. That's the problem with the 4-rax. The 4-rax is that it hits very hard, but if it doesn't find too much damage, then you find yourself in a really awkward position. So GuMiho is going to be pivoting away from that, working on that factory. Now we'll see if he goes for the starport. It looks like he will. With that, he should also be working on the reactor on that factory. And there we go, reactor is on the way, so we should be seeing an add-on swap. Meanwhile, back at home, RagnaroK is cutting workers at 31. He's going for a Roach War, and he is going all in. Oh my god. He was intentionally just making an abundance of Overlords to make sure he didn't get supply blocked. 9 Roaches are on the way. Cutting workers very early on at 31. Unfortunately, RagnaroK is reaching a bit of a supply block. GuMiho pushing out prematurely. Stim is done, so we can kind of dance with the army. Now, what he's doing here is that he's revealing his hand and he's trying to force an overreaction. He doesn't plan to commit. He doesn't plan to push in. There we go. He will back off instead because it's a 3 racks. If this was a 4 racks, then GuMiho would be forcing the issue. But he doesn't have to. So he backs off instead. Racing back home. Has to be careful not to be caught out. Oh, as he almost does catch the Ravagers. The Lings are going for the surround though. GuMiho is getting caught out. Oh, he unfortunately stuck around in the center of the map a little bit too long. He gets surrounded and he will lose everything. Ay, ay, ay. Initially, it was a good start for GuMiho, but alas, upon losing that army, he loses a lot of his momentum. Tech Lab is going to be going down. Combat Shields is denied. GuMiho not quite respecting the army of RagnaroK enough, and now GuMiho is in a lot of trouble. The Marines are doing what they can. They're going to be able to focus down on one of those Ravagers, but the wall is not a wall. The Lings, they flood on in. The boys have to be pulled. The tank is doing a lot, but the friendly fire is real. Ay, ay, ay. Even if we hold on, the damage has already been done. To be fair, across the map, oh my god, the Reapers are going ham. 3 drones go down. The worker counts are pretty similar. But we are camping the production. We have barely any Marines to work with. And RagnaroK, he does take control of the natural base. Ooh, as the Biles connect, taking down that last Rax as well. And from here, RagnaroK, he can just go back home and drone. He doesn't have to commit, but he will. Oh god, he's gonna try and bar down that tank, and it looks like he misses. Up. He gets it barely towards the end. And RagnaroK has to be careful not to throw everything away. Will back off. GuMiho stuck on 2 orbitals. He does have Liberators for harass. He isn't dead yet, but he's, you know, he's in the hospital. He's in a coma. He's fighting for his life right now. He takes down an Overlord. Liberators are heading towards the 3rd base. How many Queens do we have? We have 3 Queens. We don't have a lot of anti-air, but we do have 2 Ravagers, which will help against the Libs. Meanwhile, GuMiho just going for a mass drop across the map because it's all he can do. Liberators have arrived. Up! Vials take down the first Lib instantly. The second one lays siege upon the natural base, but the Ravagers are arriving here as well. 3 Ravagers is all we need. The Liberators go down. The drop gets denied. We're gonna supply block RagnaroK. Sure. Not wrong. We're able to accomplish that at least. Here come the reinforcements. Now, GuMiho does have the army advantage. Like, even though, like, GuMiho is all in, and he still has a win condition. He can still pull this off, especially if RagnaroK is too greedy. RagnaroK, he just made a wave of drones. GuMiho loading up, getting ready for a Doom drop into the main base. The Lingbane Roach Ravager army is out of position. There are a couple of Ravagers in the main, but only a handful. And here we go, GuMiho, he commits. He dives on this army. 1 Ravager goes down. Oh, he does barely pile down a tank. That may have been all he needed to do. That may just be it. It's GuMiho forced to pick up once again. Reinforcements coming across the map. And as the game goes on longer, it's getting harder and harder for GuMiho. RagnaroK now at a pretty healthy worker count with 62 workers, making Roach Ravager Ling. Not too many Lings here to support the Roach Ravager, though. They were waiting in the main base for a drop. RagnaroK getting caught out a little bit, but he gets us around. The tanks are going to go down. The Roach Ravager cleaning everything else up, and it looks like RagnaroK has done it. GG gets called. RagnaroK takes game number 1. GG, well played. Getting a lot of this off of the back of GuMiho getting his army caught out, the Marines getting surrounded, the initial 3 racks if you recall. Things snowballing heavily in favor of RagnaroK. And with that, he takes a lead in the series. With that, RagnaroK only needs one more game to make it to a qualifying match. Oh boy, here we go. And it all comes down to this. It all comes down to Gresvan. Here and now, GuMiho needs to fight back. He needs to put a point on the board. He needs to force the ace match, otherwise his run ends here, which would be disastrous. Like, he's the ESL Masters runner-up, you know? He was able to prove himself on the international stage, but can he prove himself here in the qualifiers? As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gresvan, we have the South Korean Terran player representing himself, the ESL Masters runner-up, one of the best Terrans in the world, the South Korean Terran. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Mystery Gaming, leading the series 1-0, one game away from making it to a qualifying match. It is RagnaroK. And this is interesting. So we're setting up for a low ground 2 racks, but we have one SCV setting up a proxy out on the map. Alright, GuMiho. What do you got? 1 rack's at home, 1 rack's across the map. 2 racks is at home. This is looking like a 3 racks. This is looking like 3 racks Mass Reaper. Or at least 2 racks Mass Reaper. RagnaroK goes for a pool first opener. Interesting. Okay. So it's going to be a pool hatch gas opener from RagnaroK. With this, he's going to have faster access to queens. He's going to have faster access to lings, which is going to be really crucial here because Reapers are going to be in his face sooner rather than later. The Overlords are actually more concerned with looking for proxies, and despite how vigilant RagnaroK has been, he is desperately looking for those proxy racks. He does not come across them. He doesn't find them. He doesn't know. Oh boy. There we go. Reapers are being made. So it looks like it's only going to be 3 racks. We're not making a 3rd. Not yet, at least. As the first 2 lings are moving out. Not across the map. He's checking for the proxy once again. He's going to be heading towards the bottom left. And he...
Ready. Here comes a new challenger.
God damn it, Diva. He does come across the proxy racks. He is aware. He was in the midst of expanding and taking a 3rd base, but no, he thinks better of it. He does pull back. He does pull away. Heading towards a linear location. Should be able to just barely save that drone with the gas geyser. Back at home, GuMiho is expanding, but the lings are arriving, and this is forcing the Reaper back home. RagnaroK just making sure, just trying to figure out how committed his opponent is. Meanwhile, 100 gas is already mined. Ling speed is on the way. These Reapers just haven't really found too much damage yet. They've killed 2 lings so far. But the Reaper count is about to get larger. GuMiho going straight into his 3rd CC, recognizing that this isn't finding too much damage. He makes 4 Reapers. And that is it. 4 Reapers to his name. God, he wants the queens as well. Where are the lings, by the way? They were not quite where they needed to be. Oof. As the Reapers barely escape with their lives, they're going to be able to get out towards a 3rd. and the Reapers will escape. Meanwhile, we have a lot of Lings in production. RagnaroK, he made a massive wave of Lings. He's going for a counterattack. The wall is a wall, thankfully, but there's not much else here. We have Marines in production. We have no Hellion. We have nothing else. The add-on is at least going to be going down. The Reapers do not go back home. They commit to their attack. They're heading in towards that natural base where Lings are waiting for him. We have a surround. The Reapers go down. The Reapers do fall. GuMiho losing his map control, losing his scouting. RagnaroK, what does he do with this? For the time being, he's just droning. Should be working on his additional gases soon. Should be working on his lair momentarily. No Bailey Nest, so he can't bust his opponent. As GuMiho is going for a 3cc into that 1-1-1. No Banshee, no add-ons. No nothing. It's a little bit concerning. Oh my god, GuMiho, he's even reading a Bane bust. Does finally cancel those bunkers though. Realizes that his opponent isn't being as aggressive as he thought he would. Rax is going to be going down. We have 3 more Raxes here in the main base. We are rebuilding the reactor. Thankfully it's a reactor, not a tech lab. But again, GuMiho, like his stim is so heavily delayed. His upgrade's so heavily delayed. He has a third, which is good. It's great. It's amazing and all. But RagnaroK is free to just saturate his bases. There we go, double Evo chambers, lair, Bailey Nest. 4th base should be thrown down in a couple of moments. There's nothing threatening him. There's nothing to be really concerned about. The only thing concerning to RagnaroK is a Hellion run by. And he's got plenty of Lings to do with Hellions. So there's that 4th. So RagnaroK just taking all of his boxes, even a oh, sorry, I thought we saw a macro hatch. We couldn't even see a macro hatch thrown down as well. Oh, as GuMiho's going for a bit of a cheeky drop into the main. Hellion drop. You love to see it. There's quite a lot riding on this. We'll see how quickly RagnaroK can react. We'll see how he can respond. As the drop does dip into the main base, the boys are being pulled. Quick Evo chambers thrown down as well. No drone damage is done. None whatsoever. We have a Hydra Den on the way, so Ling main Hydra is going to be the composition of choice. Again, RagnaroK, he knows he can be greedy like this and just take up towards those Hydras without too much issue. It can always be a really risky thing to do, to take into Hydras too quickly. But because of the early game, like, he's free to do so. Tank production commencing. RagnaroK just getting eyes on the 3rd base. Just getting eyes on the saturation as well. As at this point, RagnaroK should be able to drone up to 80. Should be able to drone up to 80 without too much issue. Ooh. So Bailey does connect. There we go. 81 workers, 4 bases. 5th base on the horizon. There we go, on the way. We are lacking a little bit of creep spread, I will say that. I guess we didn't really have too many queens to work with. So because of the lack of creep spread, this push is actually a little bit terrifying. RagnaroK now has to focus on his army production, now on Ling Bane Hydra. GuMiho rocking up with Hellbats, with 2 tanks and a medevac. 1 tank actually, the 2nd tank is across the map. Unfortunately, GuMiho doesn't really have too much pushing power with this. With only a single tank, he can deny creep. But I don't see him really threatening this hatchery. If he ever tries to, I do think he would overextend and he may lose everything. As RagnaroK is just building up his Ling Bane army. The Lings, they go for a counterattack. There is a tank in position, but the Lings, they want the tank. And they're going to get it. They do dive on in. Oh, actually the repair. Very nicely done there by GuMiho. He keeps the tank alive. He's denying all this creep. Solidifying this position in the center of the map. But RagnaroK is still just focusing on Lingbane production, and he will soon max out. He has an infestation bit on the way to get into Hive Tech. We have another double drop being sent out. GuMiho, he's fighting back. And even though you can argue that GuMiho is stabilizing, and he is stabilizing, he can't really threaten RagnaroK, and that's the biggest problem right now. RagnaroK would like to expand and take another base though. But yeah, he's not really threatening the economy of RagnaroK yet. We can see a couple of drones going down. This is why I kind of want RagnaroK to take the northern base, because this mineral line is exposed. But here we go, RagnaroK. He's setting up a surround from the north, from the south. He's coming in, he's collapsing on this army. And GuMiho overstayed his welcome. We just did not have enough. He will lose everything. At the same time, we have another force diving on towards that third base, but a bit of an overextension. Tanks will go down. GuMiho goes for a big drop in towards the main base. RagnaroK is getting ready for the evacuation as well. Hydras. There is no way out. Okay, looks like the Hydras weren't quite ready for the army to escape towards the south. Another triple drop here towards the north, looking to threaten those upgrades. But the Lingbane arrives in time. RagnaroK shuts down the main army and deflects the drops. Now, because we don't have a hive, these drops are going to contain RagnaroK for a little bit. Oh, but the medevacs. The medevacs! No! Oof. One medevac does go down. The army pushing forward. The medevac doubles back towards the main base. So we have an army waiting for him. We do have 4 Hydras. As well as Lingbane waiting for that triple drop as well. RagnaroK doing a great job of just splitting up his army. GuMiho only has 1 tank in position, and 1 tank is not going to be enough. RagnaroK, he just go for the base. He goes for the army instead. The army rolls on in. The Banelings roll on in. They're just going to be able to bring everything down. The planetary falls at the same time. The drops are also denied. These Hydras don't want to trade against the Marines though, so we're going to be bleeding out quite a lot of Hydras here. So towards the end, an efficient trade for GuMiho. RagnaroK just bleeding out a little bit too much, but with these reinforcements, RagnaroK can snowball and get on top of these tanks, and GG gets called. RagnaroK has done it after a pretty dominating early game, after having a really comfortable mid game as well. RagnaroK is able to shut down GuMiho, and he takes the series 2-0. GG. And which button is it? GG, well played. Congratulations to RagnaroK for advancing on to a qualifying match, advancing on into the next round. My condolences to GuMiho. It was a rough start, straight up, for him to lose his Reapers, for him to lose his production as well, for him to get scouted. The proxy racks was scouted, so RagnaroK was able to respond beautifully to it, and honestly, RagnaroK was in full control of that game up until the drop play, but even then, like, RagnaroK was keeping up with the drops, minimizing losses. It was an uphill battle for GuMiho just because of how the early game played out. RagnaroK took his lead, and he never let go. He never let go. GG, well played. Congratulations. Congratulations to RagnaroK. Well played. And with that, we are done. We are done here on the CranKy Ducklings for now. On Africa, at least. On Africa. Fun fact, the CranKy Ducklings are actually live on Twitch as we speak. We are casting the World Team League. I say we, Kuro and Asher, are covering the World Team League matches in my absence. Didn't expect the broadcast to go this long. Almost 5 hours. Almost 5 hours. As we quickly check the bracket so we can keep you guys updated, we switch our scenes over, and there we have it. RagnaroK is waiting in that qualifying match for a couple more series to finish up. We have Spirit versus DNS. Winner goes up against Future. The winner of that goes up against RagnaroK. So 3 best of 3s remaining, and they are all going to be covered by the Matcherino casters, by Azalis, by the lovely Lady Azalis. Let me give you a link. Let me post the link in the chat. I got you guys. I got you guys. Un momento, un momento. As currently DNS is up 1-0 against Spirit. Really impressive results so far by DNS. I'm a big fan of DNS, especially in WTL. He has really done so much. He's improved so much over the course of this year. He's a bit of a sleeper agent, bit of a dark horse. Not a lot of people give him too much mind, but DNS is a very powerful player. And if you guys have a look at the Africa chat, I have linked the Twitch stream. Sorry, I've linked the stream for the main stream for the remainder of this qualifier. So check it out over there if you're interested. If you want to see how the story ends, if you want to see whether or not RagnaroK, Future, Spirit, or DNS qualify for the Champions Cup number 2. Very important to keep an eye on that. So definitely give some love over to Azalis and the Matcherino Africa channel. Definitely. Just catching up in the chat. Just catching up. But yeah, with that, we are going to be wrapping things up here for the time being. I'm not done casting. If you enjoyed my casting and if you want some more, hop over to Twitch. Hop over to Twitch because I'm about to go live and cast World Team League. It looks like DragonKaiZ Gaming is currently facing off against the Starving Camels as we speak. It looks like it's Tudming versus Oliveira. Tudming versus Oliveira. Oh, actually just wrapped up. Oh, and they are about to begin with Ryung versus Raynor. Onside Gaming versus Team Basilisk. So we're going to be heading over. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you so much for your support. If you want some more casting, check us out on Twitch. Otherwise, we are only live here on Africa when we cast Africa exclusive events like GSL or the Africa Champions Cup. So that's where we're live here. Otherwise, we mainly have content on Twitch and on YouTube. We are live every single day, multiple times a day on Twitch with plenty of StarCraft action. And we have daily uploads on YouTube for StarCraft as well. So check us out there if you're interested. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. Check out the main event over on the Matcherino Africa channel as well, as the main event will be held there on that channel. And we'll see you guys next time. Till then, adios. Bye.